The final curtain for Heartland's latest season is drawing near, promising a cascade of suspense, peril, and profound emotional shifts that will irrevocably shape the Bartlett-Fleming family's journey. Years marked by unspoken grief, wounds that time couldn't quite mend, and the sudden reappearance of a figure from deep in their past have converged to this critical juncture. As the season finale approaches, the paramount question hangs heavy. What destiny awaits Heartland's cherished family? Will the profound, time-tested bond between Amy and Ty weather the years of miscommunication, perceived betrayal, and the lingering echoes of past traumas? What unfolds when the specters of unresolved conflicts rise again, threatening the very foundations of the life they've painstakingly rebuilt? The answers are imminent, but the emotional gauntlet ahead is one few can anticipate. Prepare yourselves. This finale is set to redefine everything. The unexpected return of Ty Borden signals a dramatic turning point for Heartland. For years, his apparent passing cast a long shadow over the family. Amy, grappling with the immense loss of her husband, poured her energy into maintaining their life and the ranch for their daughter, Lindy. The ache of Ty's absence permeated every aspect of Heartland, a void seemingly impossible to fill. But now, a startling revelation shatters their reality. Ty never perished. His death was a carefully constructed deception, a desperate measure to shield him from a perilous past that endangered not only his own life, but the safety of everyone he held dear. As Ty steps back onto the familiar soil of Heartland Ranch, the landscape of their lives is irrevocably altered. The intervening years of separation have etched deep marks. Amy, now a woman forged stronger and more independent by adversity, is confronted by a maelstrom of emotions she hadn't foreseen. The surge of joy at seeing Ty alive is tinged with the sharp sting of betrayal. Why the prolonged silence? Why no attempt to reach out? Was their love a fiction if he could vanish without a trace? Amy's path to forgiving Ty is merely the prelude to the emotional odyssey awaiting the family. Their once unbreakable connection has been fractured, and they must now navigate a new, uncertain terrain where old sentiments, cherished memories, and unanswered questions form a barrier between them. The reunion is not the purely joyful event they might have envisioned, but one fraught with the palpable tension of lost years and the ghosts of what was. Jack, Ty's mentor and a man who loved him as his own son, finds himself caught between elation and anger. How could Ty allow them to mourn for so long? Why did he not return sooner to alleviate their suffering? Jack's bond with Ty has always been characterized by paternal affection and firm guidance, but with Ty's return, the trust that underpinned their relationship will require careful reconstruction. Jack's feelings are a complex tapestry. Years of pain are not easily dismissed. Even as Ty's reappearance brings a measure of relief, the wider Heartland family, Lou, Tim, Georgie, and Katie, each react to Ty's return in their own distinct way. Some harbor hope, others remain guarded, but an unsettling feeling pervades them all. This is not the same man who departed years ago. He has changed. Ty carries the burden of a clandestine past he cannot shed, and it isn't long before the initial harbingers of trouble surface. Danger is an ever-present shadow. This marks only the beginning of Ty's arduous journey back into the family's embrace. The stakes are incredibly high, and the emotional repercussions will ripple through every member of the Heartland family. As Ty endeavors to reintegrate into ranch life, his every action is scrutinized. Can he persuade Amy and the family that his choices, however painful, were necessary? Can they find it within themselves to forgive the lost years? Will the secrets he harbors continue to place them all in jeopardy? The answers are yet to unfold, but as Ty's return ignites fresh tensions, one certainty emerges. Life at Heartland is forever changed. As Ty's presence begins to reshape the dynamics at Heartland, the true extent of the wounds his absence inflicted becomes starkly apparent. Amy, still navigating her turbulent emotions, is not the only one affected. The entire family confronts a cascade of challenges, their reactions varying as they wrestle with the implications of Ty's return for their individual lives and for Heartland's future. Amy's emotional pilgrimage is central to this season. She must reconcile the man she once adored with the changed individual standing before her. She never imagined the man she believed lost forever would reappear, not under these circumstances, not after such a prolonged period of agonizing uncertainty. Despite the joy and relief that accompany seeing him alive, A torrent of emotions threatens to engulf her. Amy is no longer the more dependent woman who once leaned heavily on Ty. She is stronger, more self-sufficient, and fiercely protective of her daughter Lindy and the life she has meticulously constructed in his absence. Her relationship with Lindy has been her anchor, and she has spent years instilling in her daughter the resilience to carry on, even amidst devastating loss. How then does she allow this man back into her world, especially when his silence forced her to bear a burden she should never have shouldered? The path to forgiveness is anything but straightforward. Amy's anger and profound sense of betrayal create a chasm between them, a gulf neither knows how to bridge. Every exchanged word, every shared glance, is laden with unspoken inquiries. Why did he not confide in her? Why did he opt to live apart from them for all those years? Can she ever truly trust him again? The tension between Ty and Amy escalates, both struggling to find any semblance of common ground. Ty, deeply remorseful for the anguish he has caused, understands that mere words cannot mend the wounds of the past. He must demonstrate that his love for Amy has not waned, but the defensive walls she has erected around her heart seem insurmountable. Every attempt he makes to reconnect is met with resistance, and as the season unfolds, it becomes evident that the road to healing will not be as simple as an apology and a fresh start. Meanwhile, the rest of the family's reactions to Ty's return are equally intricate. Jack, who has always regarded Ty as a son, finds himself at a difficult juncture. His joy at Ty's reappearance is shadowed by a deep-seated sense of betrayal. Jack's affection for Ty is profound, but so too is his commitment to protecting his family. Why did Ty delay his return? How could he allow them to suffer without word? These questions torment Jack, and though he wishes to embrace Ty, he cannot easily relinquish the anger that has simmered within him for years. Lou, ever the pragmatist, is more circumspect. She questions Ty's true motives, wondering if his return is genuinely for the right reasons, or if a more complex agenda is at play. With her own family's well-being to consider, Lou becomes the voice of caution, urging the others to remain vigilant. Her protective instincts towards Amy and Lindy lead her to question whether Ty's reappearance is truly a positive development, or if the danger from his past still poses a threat to their collective safety. Tim's reaction is more layered as he attempts to balance his desire to support Amy with his own complicated feelings about Ty. Tim has often been the one to make the difficult decisions for the family, and now he must decide whether to extend his trust to Ty once more or maintain a cautious distance. He acknowledges the pain Ty's actions have inflicted, but also comprehends the immense weight of the decision to leave one's family for their protection. Tim evolves into a tentative source of support for Ty, yet he remains skeptical about how events will ultimately transpire. Georgie and Katie, though still young, are maturing quickly and process Ty's return through their own unique lenses. Georgie, already possessing a wisdom beyond her years, feels conflicted, wanting to support Amy while also trying to understand Ty's reasons for his prolonged absence. Katie, much younger, senses the pervasive tension and is uncertain how to react to the man she has primarily known through stories. The strain within the family is palpable, their interactions filled with unease as they try to navigate their feelings surrounding Ty's return. However, the emotional drama extends beyond personal relationships. The stakes escalate dramatically as Ty's return introduces an unforeseen threat to Heartland. His past is a relentless pursuer, and it doesn't take long for signs to emerge that his enemies have tracked him. Strange occurrences begin to plague the ranch, suspicious individuals seen lurking in the distance, cryptic messages delivered to Ty, and unsettling incidents that suggest someone is acutely aware of his whereabouts. The looming threat is one Ty believed he had eluded when he orchestrated his supposed death years ago. But now, as the walls begin to close in on him again, it's clear that escaping the demons of his past is not so simple. More alarmingly, the people he loves, Amy, Lindy, Jack, Lou, and everyone at Heartland, are now in danger because of him. As the family members grapple with their emotions and mounting suspicions, Ty must find a way to protect them, without fully revealing the extent of the resurgent danger. He is compelled to confront the consequences of his past choices, and in doing so, he may discover that the only path to ensuring his loved one's safety is to finally face the enemies who have haunted him for years. The pressure intensifies, and as Ty struggles to shield his family, the lines between loyalty, love and self-preservation become increasingly blurred. Can he mend the fractured relationships before his past obliterates everything they have fought to rebuild? And will Amy ever find it in her heart to forgive him, or will the weight of betrayal prove too great a burden to overcome? This situation sets the stage for a season that will severely test the resilience of the Heartland family. The emotional stakes are at an all-time high, and as Ty's past resurfaces, it is not merely the bonds of love and family that are challenged, but their very survival. As Ty's reappearance continues to unsettle the foundations of Heartland, a far more ominous presence emerges from the shadows, serving as a stark reminder that the danger is far from resolved. For all the emotional turmoil Ty's return has instigated, it is the looming threat from his past that injects a layer of intense suspense and peril into the already fragile situation. His years spent in hiding were intended to safeguard him and those he loved, but now that past has returned with a vengeance, making it terrifyingly clear that no one is truly safe. Ty, though immensely relieved to be back within his family's embrace, knows that his adversaries will stop at nothing to locate him. After all, they have been searching for him for years, and despite his most diligent efforts to sever all ties and vanish, there are individuals from his past who will not relinquish their vendetta. As peculiar events begin to transpire at Heartland, the family gradually realizes that something is profoundly amiss. It begins subtly misplaced objects, unfamiliar footprints around the ranch perimeter, and a pervasive unsettling feeling in the air. But soon it becomes undeniable that someone is observing them. The first concrete sign of trouble materializes when Ty receives a veiled message, an ominous warning that someone from his past is closing in. His heart plummets as he recognizes the distinctive handwriting. It's a threat from the very people who compelled him into hiding years prior. The message is brief but chillingly effective. You can't hide forever. Ty attempts to decipher the warning while the family begins to feel the oppressive weight of the escalating danger. Jack, Lou, and Tim each sense that something is awry, but they remain unaware of the true depth of the peril. To protect his family, Ty becomes increasingly secretive. He doesn't wish to alarm anyone, but he knows that time is rapidly running out. The threat is tangible, and it's merely a matter of time before it reaches Heartland's doorstep. Soon, the incidents intensify. Unfamiliar vehicles are sighted near the ranch, always maintaining a distance, always watching. At night, the sounds of stealthy footsteps and the rustling of leaves disturb the tranquility of the ranch, keeping everyone on edge. Ty's old enemies have found him, and they are making their move. They've tracked him down after years of relentless searching, and they have no intention of letting him slip through their grasp again. Ty becomes progressively more on edge, his protective instincts heightened to their peak. He resumes his old training routines, stays awake late into the night ensuring the ranch's security, all while desperately trying to keep his family safe without divulging the full extent of the danger. But every precaution he takes feels like it's bringing them one step closer to an inevitable confrontation. He knows it's only a matter of time before they make their decisive move, and the thought of endangering those he loves more than anything in the world keeps him awake at night. Amy, still reeling from the emotional aftermath of Ty's return, senses that something is seriously wrong. She tries to connect with him, but Ty pushes her away, keeping her in the dark about the true nature of the dangers surrounding them. This secrecy only deepens the chasm between them. Amy is frustrated by his lack of openness, but as she begins to notice the signs of his growing anxiety, she realizes that this situation transcends their fractured relationship. It's about protecting their entire family. However, as Ty endeavors to shield everyone from the threats now encroaching on Heartland, it becomes apparent that his attempts may be insufficient and too late. The family starts to become ensnared in the danger. Late one evening, a shadowy figure is spotted near the barn, and the following morning, a few of the horses exhibit signs of having been tampered with. The ranch's sanctity has been breached, and Ty knows the attackers are only growing bolder. The stakes are now higher than ever before. Every family member is at risk, and Ty realizes that to protect them, he must confront his past directly. But there's a significant problem. Confronting his enemies means confronting the darkness he has been fleeing for years, and doing so risks everything he has painstakingly worked to rebuild with Amy, Jack, Lou, and the other. The emotional ties are exceedingly fragile, and any misstep could shatter the delicate trust that has tentatively begun to reform. Tensions reach a boiling point when a close encounter with one of Ty's old adversaries sends shockwaves through the family. The attackers make their intentions brutally clear. They don't just want Ty, they want to destroy everything he holds dear. The danger is no longer a threat solely to Ty, it's a threat to Amy, Lindy, Jack, Lou, and everyone at Heartland. Ty knows that the only way to end this escalating crisis is to take the fight to them, but doing so could place the Heartland family in even greater danger than ever before. The choice is agonizing. Does he risk everything and go on the offensive, knowing that his past might very well destroy the family he loves, or does he retreat further into the shadows, leaving his family to pick up the pieces in his absence? While Ty wrestles with this monumental decision, Amy and the family are left to cope with the fear and uncertainty that now hangs heavy over Heartland. The quiet haven they have meticulously built over many years is no longer secure. The peaceful life they once cherished has been violently upended by a threat they never anticipated, and as the pressure mounts, the family must decide whether they will stand united in the face of an overwhelming storm, or whether the danger will irrevocably divide them once again. As the suspense intensifies and the danger becomes increasingly real, the Heartland family is confronted with their most formidable test yet. Will they survive the tempest that is about to break, or will Ty's past prove to be their undoing? The threat from his past is no longer his burden to bear alone. It is one they must all confront together, and as the finale looms, one thing becomes unequivocally clear. The heart of Heartland will be tested as never before. As the shadow of danger closes in on Heartland, the emotional weight on the family grows heavier. The ranch has always been a symbol of resilience, a place where love, loyalty, and trust can heal even the deepest. But with the mounting tension, the return of old threats, and the fractures caused by Ty's disappearance, that very foundation is at risk of crumbling. The question becomes, can the Heartland family rebuild the trust that's been broken, or will they be torn apart by the turmoil that has followed Ty back into their lives? For Amy, the stakes are intensely personal. She spent years grappling with the heartbreak of losing Ty, and now his return has thrown her life into chaos. The joy she feels seeing him alive is overshadowed by the unresolved pain of his absence, and no matter how much she tries, she can't seem to let go of the years of perceived betrayal. Every touch is a reminder of what she's lost. The emotional scars are deep, and the fear of being hurt again by the man she once loved is ever present. Yet as the danger grows, Amy finds herself faced with a decision that could define the future of their relationship and the future of Heartland itself. Despite her pain, despite the unresolved anger, Amy starts to see glimpses of the man she once knew. Ty is different now, not just in his actions, but in the way he carries himself, wounded, remorseful, yet determined to make things right. It's these moments that begin to soften her heart, even though trust doesn't come easy. For Amy, forgiveness feels like an impossible mountain to climb, but the love she once felt for Ty is not entirely gone. It's just buried beneath years of grief, anger, and unanswered questions. Ty, on the other hand, is consumed with guilt and regret. He knows he can never undo the years he lost, or the pain he caused Amy. He made a choice to leave, a choice he thought was for the greater good, but in doing so he broke the heart of the one person he loved. Now he's faced with a harsh reality. No amount of apologies or explanations can erase the hurt. What Ty needs most is Amy's forgiveness, but he knows he has no right to ask for it, not after everything he put her through. His hope lies in the small moments when Amy allows herself to look past the pain and see the man he is now, not the one who abandoned her. But as much as they both yearn for reconciliation, trust is fragile and it takes only one misstep to break it again. The emotional tension between them is palpable. Each move Ty makes is scrutinized, and every word he says feels like a test. Can Amy ever fully believe in him again? Can Ty prove that he's worth the second chance he's asking? The weight of these questions looms large, and as the family continues to face the threat from Ty's past, they must also confront the emotional consequences of his return. The other family members too find themselves struggling with the trust they once had. Jack, ever the protector, wants nothing more than to believe in Ty again. He raised him like a son, loved him as family, but the years of grief and betrayal have left Jack with a heart full of questions. He understands the decisions Ty made were complicated, but there's still a lingering sense of hurt that refuses to go away. Jack's relationship with Ty is one of the most complex, as he grapples with his love for the man who stood by him through thick and thin, and the hurt caused by his sudden disappearance. Lou, the pragmatic and fiercely protective sister, also faces a personal struggle. She's always been the one to keep the family together, the one who could see through the cracks and hold things together. The Ty's return tests that role. While she's relieved to see him alive, she's also cautious. She's seen the toll that his absence has taken on Amy, and now she must decide whether to trust that Ty's intentions are truly pure, or if he's just playing a dangerous game with their emotions. Lou's protective instincts kick in, and she becomes a voice of reason in the family, reminding everyone of the importance of caution and self-preservation. Tim, who has always had a complicated relationship with Ty, tries to stay neutral. He sees the pain Ty's disappearance caused, but he also understands the necessity of the difficult choices Ty had to make. Tim's inner conflict grows as he watches the family struggle to heal, torn between his desire to forgive Ty and his concern for the safety of everyone at Heartland. His support of Amy and her decisions is unwavering, but he also sees the man Ty has become and the sacrifices he's made. Tim's journey is one of reluctant understanding, but it's clear that the emotional scars from the past are hard to move beyond. Georgie, who has grown up faster than anyone could have imagined, is caught in the middle of it all. Her relationship with Ty has always been more distant, but as she watches the family struggle with forgiveness and trust, she begins to understand the complexities of love and loss. The pain of losing a family member and the burden of unspoken words weigh heavily on her. Though she's not directly involved in the emotional conflict, Georgie's maturity makes her the family's silent observer, and her perspective offers a sobering reflection on what it means to truly forgive and move. But as the family's emotional turmoil continues to unfold, it becomes clear that the stakes are higher than just emotional healing. The danger Ty's past brings is not just a threat to him, it's a threat to everyone he loves. The more time passes, the clearer it becomes that he cannot run from his past anymore. The criminals and adversaries who have hunted him down are growing bolder, and the family is now directly in their crosshairs. The question of trust is no longer just a matter of Ty and Amy, it's a matter of survival. Will they be able to band together as a family and put aside their personal struggles in the face of such overwhelming danger, or will the emotional wounds tear them apart just when they need each other most? The breaking point approaches as the threat intensifies. Ty must make an impossible decision: continue to shield his family from the truth, or risk everything to bring the full weight of his past to the surface and face it head-on. The emotional stakes reach their highest point as Ty, Amy, Jack, Lou, and Tim must decide what is more important: their family's survival or the painful journey toward forgiveness. Trust, once shattered, is hard to rebuild, but in the heart of Heartland, love might just be the glue that holds them all together, if they can learn to forgive and let go of the past before it's too late. As the Heartland family stands on the brink of emotional collapse, with Ty's past threatening to destroy everything they hold dear, the season reaches its heart-pounding, edge-of-your-seat conclusion. The stakes have never been high. The emotional journey of Ty and Amy, the tension between trust and betrayal, and the looming danger from Ty's enemies all come to a head, forcing the family to confront their deepest fears and ultimately decide the future of Heartland. The family knows that it's no longer enough to simply navigate the delicate balance of trust and forgiveness. They must face the reality of the danger that is steadily encroaching on their peaceful lives. The stakes are personal, but they are also existential. Ty's enemies, who have been circling ever closer, are now making their move. The past that Ty thought he had outrun is no longer something he can hide from. The time for avoidance is over.